Welcome into the draft. Oh, wow. Welcome into the PHNX Bets. Oh, boy. Welcome into the PHNX Bet Show brought to you by the one, the only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. I'm Shawn DePaz. Wow. Oh, man. Derek, it's a tough start.
Got to get it back on track. I know. We had Christmas. We got a little bit off track. We got a little alcohol in us. I get it.
I'm not usually hosting, so I could kind of let Shane or Johnny take care of this. But I'm Shawn DePaz. I'm a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. That right there, that is Derek Montilla. He's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, realest guys in the room. Derek, how
you doing? PHNX Bets in the house, Shawn DePaz.
In the motherfucking house. Derek, J.J. Watt's retiring.
I hate it.
I hate it as well. He's one of the good guys in the NFL. But this is the bets show. I don't know if you had any interest in betting on the Cardinals before this, but does the news that J.J. Watt is retiring impact how you look at the Cardinals over the last 2 games from a betting perspective at all?
No, not at all. I mean, I feel like the Cardinals are already phoning it in as far as the rest of the season. And that doesn't do justice to some of the players on the field. I don't feel like they're literally not giving an effort, but especially not J.J. Watt, right? J.J. Watt has been incredible lately. He looks like he's playing for a new contract instead of playing to retire, which is wild. And honestly, I just think that right now, the one thing about the Cardinals is winning only hinders them, right? I mean, as far as a draft pick goes and what they want to do in the offseason, I don't really see a reason to win any more games. I hate to say that. I hate to say pride or just trying to go out there and beat your opponent is part of this, but you got to think logically and you got to play for the best advantage for your franchise going forward.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of in the same boat. I do think from like a prop perspective, betting J.J. Watt or Cardinals defense in general, sack prop, stuff like that. I think there is probably something in that. I mean, the reality is that
J.J. Watt for a touchdown, catching, receiving, I'll take
low key. I mean, the reality is that J.J. probably knew this was his last year long before we did. So I doubt that the news breaking is really going to impact. But like you mentioned, he has been playing very well, and I have to imagine that the thought of this being his last year has kind of played into his drive, kind of lay it all out there. So I do think over these last 2 games, looking at bets involving JJ specifically are interesting. But as far as the Cardinals' chances to win and stuff like that, it doesn't really change anything for me. They have the Falcons, and then I forget who they play in the last week, but it's 2 games that they're probably going to lose. But I don't think the JJ news changes that very much.
No, and honestly, I think the thing about it with JJ is it's kind of it's almost like the farewell tour at this point. So as far as betting goes, it does make it a little difficult for me to feel confident about betting on him in any way, shape, or form. They have the Falcons and the 49ers, and I don't feel confident about really either one of those games. Obviously, the Falcons aren't very good, but the problem I have is that, when players tend to get into that farewell tour kind of mindset, I'm not sure if sacks and tackles are at the top of their mind. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a lot of handshaking, a lot of hugs, a lot of stuff like that. I mean, J.J. Watt's the kind of guy that's going to play strong until the end. He's going to play until the final whistle. But, this is his 11th season in the NFL. Players are lucky to have an 11-year career, let alone to be playing at the level that J.J. Watt is playing at. I just kind of feel like he doesn't want to ever step foot on the field and be like a shell of his former self. And he's not there yet, but I feel like that's what he's trying to prevent.
Yeah, I agree. I will say the interesting thing about the Falcons game is that on paper, neither of those teams have anything to play for. And you mentioned the draft thing, but obviously players aren't trying to lose, aren't trying to take. And never. Now they know that they're playing for JJ in his last 2 weeks. The 49ers game, I think, unless the Niners are sitting their starters at that point, which I'm not sure how the standings shake out. I don't know if that's a situation they could even be in. But unless that happens, I don't think the Cardinals stand a chance. I think they lose that game by 3 possessions. But this Falcons game is a little different. But whether you're betting on or against the Cardinals, on J.J. Watt, whatever you want to bet on, do it on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Derek and I will have some picks and props for you in a minute from the NHL and the NBA. And if you download the app now, sign up with code PHNX, place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code PHNX only at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right.
And to follow up on what you were saying, by the way, the 49ers probably won't have anything to play for at that point. Okay. They're 4 games ahead in the division. So barring any, there's no reason why, unless it's seeding in the playoffs. That they might
it would be pretty on brand for the Cardinals, though, to now that the season is completely over. The only thing you're really playing for is draft picks to win the last 2 games.
Let's win the last 2
out of the top 5.
Yeah.
But like I said, players aren't trying to tank.
Sure.
Speaking of a tank, the Coyotes are back in action tonight. And speaking of a team that is familiar with tanking but is not currently tanking, the PHNX Suns. Both of the Valley teams, in-season Valley teams, are in action tonight. Derek and I both have picks and props for you. Derek, let's start with your picks. What do you like tonight?
Let's go. I like actually the Nuggets tonight covering the spread. I also like the Coyotes covering the puck line of 1.5 goals. I think that they are very good at home. And honestly, the puck line is always 1.5 in hockey. I just feel confident that if they're going to lose, they might lose by a goal, but I don't know. They take a lot of pride in playing at Mullet Arena. And I think that this team might, it's not going to be an awful showing for them, especially against a team like the Colorado Avalanche. And honestly, do it for us. DNVR has a lot of bragging rights lately. I can't stand it. They've been writing articles for days about the Nuggets beating the Suns. So I could really use a win here, Coyotes.
But it's interesting that you picked the Nuggets still, though.
Right? Yes. Well, I mean, I watched them against the Suns.
Yeah, that's
they're playing
fair.
The Kings. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't have very much confidence there.
Game. I don't hate it. I don't have much confidence in the Suns. I'm taking Grizzlies -8. Grizzlies talked a lot of shit ahead of their game against the Warriors. Not specifically at the Warriors, but they talked a lot of shit about the West, basically saying that they weren't afraid of anybody. And by they, I mean John Morant. But they ended up losing to the Warriors on Christmas Day in kind of embarrassing fashion because they didn't have Steph Curry. I think they're going to come out with a vengeance. The Suns just kind of hit and miss for me. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop John Morant. So I like the Grizz to cover -8. And then the Lakers money line. Lakers they are underdogs in Orlando. Orlando is a very bad team. Lakers aren't that great, but LeBron James has been on a tear recently, kind of been the only reason that this team has been able to stay in games. He's going to be going up against a rookie in Paolo Banchero, who a rookie trying to stop LeBron James just doesn't sound very exciting to me from the rookie's perspective. So I like Lakers money line at +135. And then I'm right there with you with the Coyotes puck line at +1.5. Like you mentioned, the Coyotes are a very tough team to beat in general, but especially at Mullet. Very strong, tough team. And then over the last few years, you mentioned DNVR's bragging rights. They may have a Stanley Cup, but they don't really have wins over the Coyotes. The Coyotes won the season series last year against the Avalanche, despite the Avalanche going on to win the finals and the Coyotes going on to have a top 3 draft pick. This is a weird matchup between these two teams. The Coyotes are a very difficult team to play against. The one thing that does concern me is I believe Connor Ingram is starting for the Coyotes, the backup goalie. But it's still, this is a weird matchup when these two teams meet. The Coyotes in general just have a track record of beating the best teams in hockey. They beat the Bruins and the Maple Leafs earlier in the year. It's weird, but it's kind of a feeling thing. I just think at the very least, I consider taking money line, but I think at the very least they keep this game close and they cover that 1.5.
I agree.
But from a prop perspective, we'll get into mine because mine also relates to the game. Connor Ingram, over on 29.5 saves. The Coyotes are a team that does not shoot much and takes a lot of shots, especially going up against a team that is as strong. Despite the fact that they have some injury problems, the Avalanche are still the defending Stanley Cup champions. Still a very good hockey team. I think they're going to get a lot of pucks on net. And even if the Coyotes give up 5 goals, I still think that will be because they've given up 35, 40 shots. And Connor Ingram will hit that 29.5 save mark relatively easily. And then, like I was saying about LeBron James and the Lakers, LeBron James has been on a tear recently. He's had a few 30-plus point performances recently. Now he's going up against a rookie in Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic. I think he balls out again. And like I said, I think the Lakers win, and he hits that mark.
I like that bet a lot. He's been averaging 27 points this season, and he has been 31 points or more in those last 3 games. So he really is, like you said, he's on a tear lately. If the Lakers have a hope to win, he's going to need to put up that many points for sure.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. What do you have prop-wise, Derek?
I got some Suns props. I like the head-to-head thing. It's kind of new. I haven't bet on it very much, but there's a head-to-head matchup in basketball where it's like one player versus the player that's going to be guarding them or they're going to be playing against. They have Chris Paul at 2.5 points over Jaren Jackson. I like that. And I'm not super confident about DeAndre Ayton's rebounding tonight. I just think that I don't know. He's regressing. He's kind of going back to the Ayton that kind of shies away at times, and I hate that, but it leaves me to be not super confident about his ability to get 10 plus rebounds tonight.
Yeah, I feel you there with DeAndre Ayton. The weird thing about DeAndre Ayton is I feel like he sucks long enough for you to start thinking, this guy's soft, and then he turns in a massive performance, and he does a couple of those, and it's like, he is one of the best big men in basketball, and then he lays an egg, and it's like, and he sucks again.
And he had 16 rebounds against the Nuggets, which is not a small team by any stretch of the imagination. So it's not like I'm not super confident in that one, but it's that regression, right? Last time they played the Grizzlies, 5 rebounds. But then against the Warriors, 13 rebounds. Like he's so all over the place, like you said.
Yeah, no, I like your picks there. But that's about all we have picks and prop wise. Derek, what do you have going on today? D-backs is live today, correct?
We got D-backs live. More Gabriel Moreno talk. I mean, it's exciting because the Diamondbacks have kind of been all over the place, and talking about people being all over the place, just as far as where they were going, the direction they're going. We know that they were heading in a youthful kind of direction with some of their top prospects coming up, but Gabriel Moreno is really, really an intriguing addition to this team. Players don't trade top prospects that are ranked this high in Major League Baseball. They just don't do that. So for the Diamondbacks to bring on a guy that's going to give them 4 of the top 20 prospects in baseball, it's exciting, and we're still not done talking about it. We're going to take a deep dive into some of his numbers, as well as talking a little bit about Chase Field and some of the things going on, not only with today's Pro Bowl or bowl game, college bowl game, but also with the roof. It looks like it's still going to be broken in 2023. So we'll have more information on that.
I hate that.
I do too.
As far as I'm concerned, no Sun Devils today, but tonight, Coyotes post-game show, Leah, Craig, PD, and I will be holding it down after that game. So make sure you come to the YouTube after that. But right now, stick around in the YouTube. PHNX Cardinals, our guy Johnny Venerable, along with Bo Brock, they're going to be breaking down the news that J.J. Watt is retiring. So head over to that right as soon as this stream is over. But that's all we got. Make sure you follow at PHNX Bets on Twitter. Follow at PHNX Sports on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can follow me at Shawn_DePause. You can follow Derek at Cap_Caveman. Anything else before we get out of here, Derek?
Nope. Just let's make some money.
Let's make some money. In the wise words of Shane Deefin, I call him Diefenlock. Same difference.
He loves that.
Yeah. Peace, love, and PRA. Oh, I got to be ready to peace, love, and PRA. I want something better than PRA. Do you have anything better than PRA?
Peace, love, and let's fucking go.
Yeah. Peace, love, and let's fucking go.